Griff, do you have another Yahoo?
I do have a Yahoo here, and this one was sent in by Emma Cant. Thank you, Emma, crushing it. It's another anonymous Yahoo Answers user. Put your fucking name on your work, Michael Jordan asks.
Ooh, what a gift.
Titanic was such an excellent movie that it's hard to critique anything about it. But what is something small you would critique about it?
I didn't like that the boat broke.
When the boat breaks, it's like, what were you doing?
Yeah, they spend this whole movie like getting us way into the boat and way into like the people on it, and then they're just like, twist, the boat broke.
And like, Jimmy Cameron like spent a bunch of money building this huge boat prop, and then he accidentally broke it and was like, I don't know, we got to keep making it.
Because they talk throughout the movie a lot about how the boat is unbreakable. They're like, this is an unbreakable boat. And then they break it. And it's like, that's bad writing. Because, like, you said it was unbreakable. You lied. You are an unreliable narrator. You said that the boat was unbreakable, and then you broke it. That's like having a murder mystery where it's just like, they didn't do it, but then they did do it. You
know why that happened, right?
Why?
This is actually pretty well established Hollywood lore. I think I heard on Blake Check. He wrote like 2/3 of a movie about these two people falling in love on the Titanic, and he couldn't come up with an ending. And then he's like, God, I've written so many fucking pages of this thing.
Yeah.
And then he's like, maybe what if the boat had sunk? And everybody's like, are you kidding? He's like, no, but what if it had sunk? Like, and everybody's like, the Titanic was fine and is still fine to this day, shuttling people back and forth.
Right.
And Jimmy's like, but what if it
broke and sunk to the bottom?
What if it broke and that was the end of the love story I did?
I also don't like that they don't end up together.
It sucks. And this is my main problem with the movie. And it's a fucking great flick, and it's impossible to critique it. But if I were to critique it, I would say that it spends a great deal of time making me fall in love with all of these amazing characters.
Yep.
Like Jack and Kathy Bates
and Billy Zane. And then like, most of them die, and it's like, why did you just spend like 2.5 hours making me like get to know Kathy Bates' character name only to kill her off, I think, maybe at the end of the movie?
That's a fucking okay, Griffin, you have actually hit on something.
It fucking sucks. It's a waste of my time.
Unintentionally, you've hit on something, because the two main characters, Jack Dawson and Rose, should have been Rose Dawson.
They should have gotten married.
Should have gotten married on the boat.
Before
there was a captain right there. He could.
You know that real quick, I do want to just, as long as we're I want to get to my point, but Bill Paxton's character was named Brock Lovett, and that is one of the few characters who is a complete invention by Jimmy Cameron. So he was just like, what would be a good name for an undersea explorer? I got it, Brock Lovett.
Well, he said the name is Brock, and someone said Love It, and he said,
Love
yeah,
it.
okay,
yes,
perfect,
exactly,
good.
It's the Titanic sucks because you're getting invested in those characters, right? Yeah. And then towards the end, spoilers, but towards the end, the boat break, and everybody sink into ocean
and dies.
That actually made me sad,
right?
And that it was so stupid because I want to watch a movie to feel good, right? But you actually. You fucked up because it made me sad.
Yeah.
Why did you waste all this time? What they should have done, I'm going to fix it real quick.
Yeah.
What it should have done is if Leonardo DiCaprio had been a real dingus the entire time.
Right.
Like he kept like, like, stuff like stealing Rose's wallet when she wasn't paying attention, and taking your dog and like throwing your dog overboard.
Just kicking Kathy Bates every time she's on, like just walking in and kicking her butt.
Yes, I love that.
Exactly. Like putting out lit cigarettes in Billy Zane's bald head, and even doing all this shit. And then that would have kicked ass because when she shoved him off the door, you would have been like, fuck yes, get him.
And then she could have said something cool like, you know what, we're breaking up, and shoved him off the door. And you're like,
or how about this, Travis? How about this? How about when she's like, hey, you're dumped. And then as he sank, she'd be like, nice. into the ocean. And it's like, you'd feel good. You would feel good if they did that in movies.
Hey, can I make one more note? Can I make one more note?
I'd love to keep fixing Titanic, for sure.
They're steering the boat, the captain's and he's doing a great job. And he's like,
I think driving the boat.
Well, whatever. But he's like, I'm going to steer it right next to this big iceberg so everyone can get a good look at the iceberg. And then maybe there's like a clumsy crewman who like, whoa, and he bumps the wheel. So and that's what makes it go into it. So it's like, oh, this was like completely avoidable if it wasn't for like Clumsy Steve, and like Clumsy Steve like runs into the wheel, and then it's kind of funny for a second, and it's like a big like.
That could be really good.
Do you know what would have been a fucking cooler? I want to fix it more. Okay.
Yeah.
What if you cut down the stuff with Jack and Rose to about 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Of the movie,
and I think and I think we all know which five.
Oh, as long as we're there. By the way, then when he was done drawing her, he should have said, "Now draw me," and switch places.
His dick and his balls.
Okay, so 5 minutes of it is that, and the other 3 hours and 10 minutes is you animate the iceberg and give it like. Make it talk about all its hopes and dreams and shit.
Yes.
And then when the boat comes, you're like, oh, fuck, no.
Yeah.
No, not the iceberg. I see the iceberg. He's about to get hit by a boat. Get out of the way, Icy. And you'll just be screaming about that. Those people will keep going. You don't give a fuck about that. They can all sink for all you care. Yeah. All you care about is like, is Icy okay? And here's the thing about this version. He is.
Oh, okay.
He's fine.
He's cool.
He's cool.
So
maybe he doesn't even notice.
You feel happy about it.
You like that. I think
Can
another
I give
way
one more note?
Well, let me do one because I haven't gotten to tell a joke in a while.
Okay.
They also could have had their cake and eat it too, where Jack's sinking into the bottom of the ocean and dying, and all of us are like, wait a minute. This movie's making me feel pretty bad right now, but then he wakes up on the boat still not broken, and it was a dream, and looks over, and him and Rose just finished like hooking up again. They get married, and like she looks at him and is like, what's wrong, my love? It seems like you're having a bad dream. He was like, I was, but now it's over, and guess what? And he holds up the big blue diamond necklace. He says, I got the treasure. Nice. And then that's the end of the movie. And then like he got the treasure and gets like they're gonna have a lot of money whenever they get off the boat, and they're gonna have a cool life.
And they'll return in Titanic 2 to Titanic.
That in the Titanic we got, which now I'm thinking about it, is a shit flick.
Sucks. The more we
really
pick at some of the loose threads,
it opens up.
I don't even feel like the cinema sins on this one went far enough, because it's like there's some really bad ones.
We start out with Brock Fuckett, and he's like, "I'm gonna find the big treasure to get lots of money," and you're like, "Oh, that would be fucking cool! I can't wait to watch this. I love movies about like finding cool treasures." And then you watch this whole movie thinking like, when's the treasure going to come into play? And then they like tease at it a few times, and then she is wearing it in the nudity sequence, and then at the and then at the the whole time all these people die, and you're like, yeah, but like, is Brock going to get the cool treasure or not? And then at the very end, she throws it in the water.
No thank you.
What's the point of this movie?
I would like to add a little bit to that scene to fix it. Well, not to fix it, but just to kind of highlight it for a moment. Because I think she should, she shouldn't drop it in the ocean. But if she does drop it in the ocean, her daughter, who is also there, should walk out and say, hey, did you just throw that priceless gem in the ocean? You have a family.
You have a family.
You could have given that to me, and that really would have helped, our financials and stuff.
I live in a crude tent that I fashioned together from those drawings of yours that you gave me of yourself naked. I have to live in a crude tent made out of naked drawings of you. Please just sell the neck.
What the fuck? You've had that this whole time? When Dad needed surgery and we had to do a GoFundMe, you had a fucking Heart of the Ocean? We could have sold?
But then she says, no, look down there. It's a shithead whale. And you look down, and she landed it right in his blowhole, and he died.
That's pretty good. Also,
I named Jack after another shithead I knew that died also.
Can I get one more note?
He's been mad dogging our boat here this whole time. But don't worry, I took care of it.
I have one more note.
Yeah, please.
I think they should have hooked up in a cooler car.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that old busted joint that they hooked up in, that raggedy old car that they had was absolutely embarrassing.
Picture this, a sick, like, Firebird, Like, oh yeah, like, oh, with the top down, and maybe they're blasting like some Eagles music while they're like doing it.
Travis, look out above. Fucking Oscars are falling on you.
Jesus.
Oh my God.
And what would be dope is like when the hand comes up and like slaps the window and wipes some of the steam off the window of the Bugatti that they're shagging in. You see now through the cleared window, Kathy Bates is just like looking in there like, great.
Oh my God! I just got a fax from Jimmy. He said Justin would love for you to walk through the beats on Av 2.
Yeah.
Make sure. I'm thinking about delaying it just so I can really crack this nut wide open.
Cool. Make sure.
What if Avatar 2 was just a sequel, like a backdoor sequel to Titanic, where they got in there and it was like a VR session?
Stop it. Avatar's a perfect film.
Never seen it.
It's not a piece of shit like Titanic. Avatar is perfect.
Yeah. Because it's bad. It's bad. They have badass fights, and it makes you feel good at the end of it.
It's weird.
I think it's time for a Titanic reboot.
The good news is because of our incredible fortune in becoming Jimmy's sort of dudes behind the scenes, pulling all the strings, we no longer require the money from our advertisers.
Correct.
That's wonderful news for us.
Yes.
And it's also wonderful news for this week's charity that we've selected.
Yeah, this week we are donating our ad revenue to the Foundation for Black Women's Wellness, which is all about supporting and advocating for Black women and their families during, especially right now during the COVID-19 pandemic, but is all about, supporting those families and keeping them safe and healthy all the time. So you can read about it. We'll have a link to that in the episode description.
Perfect. Let's go to the money zone.